Oh, I'm gonna get booed. That's okay though. Like, that's I know they're gonna be rooting against me, and that's okay. My goal is that when the fight is over, that they're going to appreciate.
The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description.
You're headed to Dublin, Ireland, man. Not much time left. Enemy
Oh,
territory, so to say. What are the emotions? What are the thoughts running through your mind as fight week approaches?
man, I'm excited. I really am. Like, when I started fighting at age 18, 19, which was getting close to 15 years ago, since I had my first amateur fight, like that was always the dream, was to travel the world and fight in front of like a packed arena. So, to see that come to fruition, even though it's taken this long to get there, like, it's always fun to look back and remember, like, when you were thinking like, man, I wish someday I could do this or someday I could do that. And then to finally get the opportunity to do that is super awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You got to jump on it, and Irish fans, man, they're pretty rowdy. They're pretty ruthless. What are your expectations when you step out into the arena to get to the cage?
Oh, I'm gonna get booed. That's okay though. Like, that's I know they're going to be rooting against me, and that's okay. My goal is that when the fight is over, that they're going to appreciate, my skill set and what I bring to the table. So, it's just a little extra challenge to try to win them over. It's and if I don't win them over, that's okay, because if they're upset, that means I probably had a pretty good night. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And in Bellator, you've never really shied away from like the highest level guys, man. Once you signed a
that's
contract, like, was
yeah,
that
that's
something that
been
you pursued?
man. It's I was just talking to a teammate about this today. I've never been given anything in my fight career. I was never the prospect. I was always the guy that got matched up against the prospects. Even like coming up through LFA, I wasn't supposed to get an LFA title. They would match me up against the prospect and I would beat them. And then instead of them being like, "Oh man, this guy's pretty good. Let's maybe get behind him and try to push him to the next level." They're like, "Oh, well, you beat that prospect, so now we're going to give you another tougher prospect to try to knock you off." And I just kept winning fights, and so it really falls in line with how my entire career has gone. I've kind of taken the stance that, I'm not the guy that's supposed to be here. Like, I was always the guy that people would try to use as a stepping stone, and I feel like that's what they're trying to do with me again here, and I'm just embracing that. And I've never shied away from a challenge. So, something me and my friends on the team talk about often is, anybody, any place, and any time. And if you want to get to the top, you're gonna have to fight those guys anyway. So, there's no right time. The right time is now, and I always feel like I'm ready, and I know when I'm on my game that I can knock off the best guys in the world. So I'm excited for the challenge and to get out there and prove my worth again. So
Yeah, turn those guys into the stepping stone for you.
right, and it's my I would say my Bellator fights haven't gone my way. I've lost a couple splits, and then my last one I got clipped by Mandel, who is a great striker and he's a sniper. I kind of played into his hands, but that doesn't discourage me, because I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I haven't showed what I'm truly capable of in the Bellator cage yet, and I'm excited for another opportunity to do so.
Well, you got a good stage, man, and you got a good opponent, Peter Queally. He's number 10 in the rankings, which is phenomenal for you because if you go knock him off, you're in the rankings.
We're right back in there, and it's okay if they don't even rank me after I beat him. I want everybody to know that I belong. Like, I know that I belong, and this is a great opportunity, like I said before, to get to prove myself against the guy who held the belt in this division at one point. So, um, I'm ready, man. That's really all it boils down to, is I'm ready to go in there, and I'm ready to go to work.
What are your thoughts on Queally and the style of fighting that he possesses?
Man, he's gritty. I think that's a good word to describe him. Is he's gritty, and he's not somebody he's not gonna quit, especially in front of his home crowd. It's not somebody that you can expect to go in there and just grind him out, and he's gonna give up easily. I think that crowd really gets behind him and they propel him through the fight. So I'm ready for 15 hard minutes, and if I can clip him and catch him, I think that's our, knocking him out's our only shot to stopping this fight early. I don't see any quit in him. I don't see him as a guy that's gonna pack it in, especially in front of a home crowd. So I'm ready to go in there and grind for 15 minutes if I have to, and if we clip him and catch him on the chin early, then that's just an added bonus. But I'm expecting a dogfight, so I'm ready for that.
In his last couple of fights, he faced Benson Henderson and Patricky Pitbull. From what you remember, what were some of the takeaways from those performances?
Um, I couldn't find a ton of footage on the Henderson fight, and I missed that one live. I remember missing that card, but I've ran back his Pitbull fights a couple times, both the one he won and the one that he lost, and he's a guy that gets stronger as the fight goes on. But I'm fully confident in my abilities to make it through the fight. In my LFA title fight, I've shown that I can go 25 minutes. So I'm ready. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be right there with him, and we'll see who's got the stronger will.
Training camp is at Fight Ready. Are there any other locations you utilize?
I'm at Fight Ready. I do my strength and conditioning with Warrior Sports Wellness, but he's just right up the road, like 5 minutes from the gym. So everything's pretty much in Scottsdale. Um, that's the great thing about Fight Ready is you're just surrounded by so many high level guys that if on a given day I want to work on my jiu-jitsu, I've got a laundry list of black belts that I can work with, and if I want to work on my striking, even this week, Patricky has been in the last couple of weeks because I think he's gonna be at Fight Ready for a portion of his camp, getting ready for AJ McKee. So it's been getting to not doing hard sparring, but getting to move around with those guys and pick their brain and pick his brain since he's faced Peter a couple times has been helpful. And then guys like Henry Corrales, Dan Moret, a bunch of UFC guys. It's just there's a ton of guys there that are the best at what they do, and I just get to soak all that in and absorb all of that knowledge. And not to mention the coaches. Outside of the fighters, we have Santino DeFranco and Eddie Cha, who are just they've coached world champions and they've been in the trenches for a lot of those fights. So just get to be able to game plan with those guys and kind of come up with how we want the fight to go. And you know it's just super helpful. It's just being surrounded by people that are immersed in fighting. There's not a ton of weekend warriors. You're around people that do this for a living, and this is all that they do. So it's everything I need is right there at Fight Ready.
Yeah, for sure. And since joining Fight Ready, talk about your growth. From the training and even from the fights that you have taken since joining that team.
Yeah, I mean, I joined them probably 2.5 years ago or so. I was originally with Power MMA, with Ryan Bader's team, and I didn't leave those guys on a bad note. I needed a gym with more guys my size. They kind of specialize in the upper weights, and I just didn't have a ton of partners that were my size. So I stay in touch with those guys, and I'm still friends with all of them. But the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing I've gotten switching over to Fight Ready is just every day is you're with high level guys that are the same size as me, and I'm able to push myself and get those live looks and get that real fight feel when I need to get that. It's you can't put a price on that. And fighting's an individual sport, but you do need a strong team around you to still be successful. So that's kind of been the biggest thing, is just confidence wise for me, was getting in with these high level guys and realizing, like, oh, hey, you can you give these guys problems, and I bring things to the table that can give the top fighters in the world trouble. And um a lot of confidence is drawn from that for me, being able to mix it up with those guys on a daily basis and see, like, hey, you're right there, man. Like, I might not have the name recognition, and like I said, a lot of these fights haven't gone my way, but I know what I'm capable of, and I see what I'm able to accomplish on a day-to-day basis in the gym against some of the best fighters in the world. So I know we're ready, and that I have the tools that it takes to win this fight.
Fighting is a trip because like if you most people like me, I'm not a fighter, but like if I was training, I do train, and I was beating everybody up in the gym, I'll be happy about it. But as a fighter, you can't be happy about that because you're
Nope,
not
that
getting better. You have to
means
get
you're not
beat up.
getting pushed 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, you've got to be getting pushed, and that's what I love about Fight Ready is there's a ton of guys in that 145 to 155 pound area for me to test myself against on a daily basis, and you don't get to show up and half ass it. Otherwise, you get exposed. So just bringing the right effort and attitude every day and showing up to put in the work, has helped me improve immensely.
Without a doubt, man. And what are you expecting out of yourself against Queally? What type of performance are you envisioning?
I'm envisioning the best performance that I've had. Like a huge crowd. Like you don't get the opportunities like this are few and far between. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to say I'm putting pressure on myself, but I'm expecting a lot of myself, and I'm expecting a great performance. And I know if I show up and perform to my capabilities, that the result is going to take care of itself. So I'm excited. I'm ready to put on a show. And
Mhm.
like I said, after this card, I want people to be like, man, who is that guy? Because I already know I'm going to be underestimated. I already know that I'm going to be picked against, and that doesn't bother me. And that's really, it's okay with me. And I'm drawing from that. I want people to pick against me. I want them to think that I don't stand a chance so that I can prove them wrong.
Everybody loves an underdog story, man.
Yes, yes,
Everybody
do.
loves it. Before I let you go, man, I want to get your quick picks on the Bellator Lightweight Grand Prix. All right,
Man,
quick picks.
what a tournament! I'm
Yeah,
honestly like I was hoping if the first three fights on my contract had gone better, I would have hoped to have been a part of it. And I'm
yeah.
it, but it's fantastic, man. We
Mhm.
got Benson fighting Usman Nurmagomedov in the first round. You've got Patricky fighting against AJ McKee in the first
Mhm.
round. Trying to think who else we have in the tournament. It's the other two matchups. There's
Outlaw and
yeah, Sydney
Mansour,
Outlaws is yeah, and then the other one was is Chablis in
Musayev,
the
and
tournament?
yeah,
No,
Chablis,
Musayev and Chablis.
Musayev,
Man,
Chablis.
I think I mean obviously right now Usman has to be the favorite. He is the champion. He's got one loss on his record,
Mhm.
but like what a fight to have in the first round. Him and Benson Henderson is a first round matchup,
Mhm.
and then you've got another two former Bellator world champions meeting up in the first round between McKee and Patricky. Um, I think right now your favorites have to be Usman and McKee, just based on pedigree and kind of like their performances over the last couple of years. I think it's hard to pick against them. Obviously, I'm rooting for my boy Patricky, being how we
Yeah.
share the same gym. But I think even he knows like he's gonna have to show up to win that fight, and he's
Mhm.
fully capable of it. But I think on paper your favorites right now have to be Usman and AJ McKee
Mhm.
until somebody shows otherwise. Not saying any of the guys in the tournament don't have the skills necessary. That's why they fight the fights, and that's fighting is anything can happen on any given day at any given time. But I think until somebody jumps in and shows something otherwise, that you got to roll with Usman or AJ McKee to kind of to bring it home. But I'm just excited to watch, and like I said, I'm gonna after this performance, after I get this win, I'm excited to put myself back in the mix with some of those
Yeah.
guys as well. So um, it's just exciting to watch. It's a great tournament. You've got so many big names. You can't beat it. It's definitely got to be the best lightweight tournament I think that there's ever been put together. Maybe I'm a little biased, being that I'm a part of Bellator, but there's a ton of decorated fighters in there. Benson was a UFC champion, and like there's just a lot of accomplishments in the group of men that are in the tournament. So I don't think you can count anybody out.
No, you do have the favorites, like you said, Usman and McKee, and then you got the proven veterans like Benson and Cindy Outlaw and Patricky, and then you got the like the
The up and
sleeper
comers,
fighters.
yeah, the
Yeah,
up
the
and comers like
sleepers.
Shabib
Shubli and
and
Musayev.
Tofik
Yeah.
is he's
a beast.
dangerous, man. Nobody, he's kind of an under the radar guy, but was he a ONE FC champion, or what was his
Ryzen.
promotion before? Or he was the Risen champ. Like,
Yeah.
dude, Tofik he's like it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
But I'm telling you, you see?
Yeah,
They agree.
You agree.
They agree.
Yeah. You're okay, mommy.
But I'm just saying, keep your eye on Mansour. The man.
Yes. Yeah,
Mansour
Mansour is tough as well. Like, great tournament. I think it's a great tournament. It's going to be fun to watch. And I'm trying to think when they're kicking that off. Who's the first? Is the first matchup Benson versus Usman? Is that the first one that's going to happen? Wow. Like, what a tournament.
292.
I'm to watch.
292
292
after you fight. So
that's right.
All right, man. February 25th, Bellator 291, Dublin, Ireland. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app. Bryce, thank you so much, man, for the time and all the best, and best of luck with the twins.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the time.